And that's the whole idea, to put young talent alongside established talent, and then to put it in a book which is beautiful, which everybody likes to hold and have, and which has good production values. We have an open submission email which is called the Aleph review at gmail.com. Anybody can send their material there. I am Mehvash Amin, and I am a writer, poet, editor, publisher, and I always loved writing. I've been writing poems since I was very little, and I've written other prose as well. My kids were growing. I kind of worked in the suburbs of my real interest, which was literature. As they were growing up, I remember Seher Sehgal came up to me one time and said, "Why don't you edit Libas International?" And I had written for Libas International some book reviews. I'd also written some poetry, some short stories for Libas. And when she told me, edit it, I was very taken aback. And I said, oh my God, that's a different thing altogether. How am I going to do that? But she insisted, and I went over. And then she was very nice. She gave me the entire editorship of Libas. And she said, please bring in whatever if your thing is writing and it's art and if those are your interests, please include them, because it's a fashion magazine, but we would like to include other things in it as well. So since my interests did diverge to art and literature, I sought out people in that field, and it was a very good learning experience for me, because not only did I connect with a lot of people, which is very important. If you want to do anything in life, you connect with all kinds of people. But also, I learned a lot about the publishing business, how the layout is done, how you proof, how I even used to go to a scanner every month or every other month to see that the magazine, what it looked like in its final stages. That was an invaluable experience for me. And I did that for all the time that my kids were growing up, which was, quite a few years, 10 years. And then I left, and between jobs, I thought, what should I do next? And before I could really think it out, this Zara Saifullah asked me if I wanted to start publishing Hello magazine with her. So I did the homework and I gave her but I figured that maybe that's something that I wouldn't stick to forever. But when she got the franchise, she asked me to be the editor-in-chief. And I set up the whole Hello business magazine for them. Everything that I had learned about publishing, I taught them how what is done at every stage of the magazine. And that also taught me a lot, again, the Hello experience, because that had to go out once a month, no matter what. Unlike Libas, which was once in 3 months, this was every month. And it had to go back to Spain for them to take a look at and see if the layout was good enough, if the material was okay. So that was another learning experience. I did that for 3 years. It was very intensive because I had to go to Islamabad, where the headquarters were in Islamabad, and I had to go there every month, and it took a toll on me. Going there every month and then staying there for 5 days and taking the magazine out and coming back and then going back, rushing back again and working all the time. Then I was thinking of doing something in the field of publishing for myself, publishing or doing a journal or something of that sort. I also, so happened, when I was in talks with this gentleman called Athar, who's a poet, and he is head of ICPWE, which is the Institute for Pakistani English Writing. And he asked me to help him with, archiving material from various Pakistani writers and poets. And I was very interested. I told him, I said, let's do a journal. Let's do a journal because there's no such thing as a literary journal in Pakistan, properly produced. We were talking about that, and all of a sudden I broke my leg. I was in a cast. I was laid up for about 6 months, or it seemed endless, but anyway. And during that time then, I got in touch with Athar, but he was diverted towards something else, doing something else. So I decided that I'm going to start this journal, and we had already decided on a name, which was the Aleph Review. Aleph is for Alif, which is the first letter of alphabet. in many languages, in all languages. And so I decided that I'm going to get hold of some editors, and we got hold of writers, and it was supposed to be a literary as well as an art journal. So the first one I dedicated to my mentor, who had taught me a lot about writing. That's Tawfiq Rafat. And I had many articles written about him. I found something that was written by him and which was never published, so that was a first. Then I found his son wrote something for us, his various other proteges and people who knew him wrote something for us. And so it started off, the first one, and then there was the second one, and then I've published 5 so far. And in that process, the idea is to cover young writers, but alongside established writers. So if we have had somebody like Kamla Shamsi, say, who's written specially for us and been very happy to write for us, or an artist like Shazia Sikandar, who's known worldwide. And she's had exhibitions all over the world. She's given us an interview very happily. And so alongside those people, then we try to find young talent. So young writers, young artists, those who haven't had that much experience and who want a platform to be able to project their talent. And that's the whole idea, to put young talent alongside established talent, and then to put it in a book which is beautiful, which everybody likes to hold and have, and which has good production values. Now I get submissions we have an open submission email, which is called the Alif review at gmail.com. Anybody can send their material there. I think the year before last, in one day we got 100 contributions, and we go through all of them. And we try to glean out the best, obviously. That's the whole point, to find talent and to highlight it. But also if we find that somebody is very talented, but maybe not yet ready for publishing, we help them. We give them feedback. We tell them how to edit their own piece. I give them suggestions. So the idea is to create a kind of, let's say, a forum where young people, if they're writers, they don't give up. They don't say, oh, ye to hum likh rahe hain, lekin there's nothing to do. Where should we publish it? And forget it, let's put it in our cupboard and let's get on and do something else. So if there's genuine talent, we want to foster it. And we have done so many times. And those people, I will take one example. Awais Khan, a writer, a young writer. His first story that he'd written before, but he sent a short story to us, which we published. And now that short story has become his second novel published abroad. So it started from that short story, and he then expanded it into a novel. It's called No Honor. And it's been published abroad. And he always is very, very grateful and thankful to us for giving him that venue. Although I'm sure he would have found many other venues abroad, but it's something different when you can publish your own talent at home. We are a Pakistani homegrown journal, but now we have had writers from America, Canada, Britain, France, Italy, Indonesia, India, every year India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. It's become people from all over the world now send their articles and their poetry and their everything to us. And the other thing is that it's not restricted to one type of writing. Anything that is creative, we welcome. So whether you write a science fiction story and you find that there's not enough, there's nobody to publish science fiction, we'll publish it. If it's written well, if it's good, we'll publish it. We've had graphic stories where people draw the whole, in a cartoon, not a cartoon, but in a graphic form, the whole story. We've had that. We are having 2 this time in our book. So the idea is any type of creative output, we should give a voice to. And that's what we're doing. And now I've published a new book. So my publishing house is called Broken Leg Publications. Dates from the time when I'd broken my leg and I was getting together material for the first book. So now Broken Leg Publication has published this book called The Fundamentals of Sufism. And this is the first book that we've published outside of the Aleph series. And we've had a launch in Islamabad, which was really successful. And, he's a young man again who didn't know where to go for publishing his book. He got in touch with me, and I'm very happy to publish it. As an example, this one is the Aleph Review, which is, as you can see, a very sizable volume. And it has all kinds of poetry, essays, fiction, all kinds of things in it, with art as well. And this is our new book called The Fundamentals of Sufism, which has been written by Rahman Anwar. And I think this year also I'm going to publish 2 titles. So one is going to be poetry, maybe the other one is also going to be poetry, but I'm open to publishing all kinds of things. So I want to address all the young people out there, and especially in Pakistan, who are writing, who are maybe artists, and they're just starting out in their journey. They not to give up, and just to say that this is a platform for young people. It's a public platform, meaning anybody can. It's an elitist publication which only publishes chosen people. It is open to everybody, and now we get most of our input from people who we don't know, anonymous source. Not anonymous, meaning people we don't know. If they're writing, send it to us, we go through it and we publish it. So please do not give up on writing. Don't give up on artwork if you're doing it. Don't give up. Just by all means, write whatever you want and send it to us. And if you want, we'll give you feedback to help you grow. Otherwise, it'll be published. And I really would like to thank Talks. I think it's a wonderful platform. And I think it's amazing that they're doing this and bringing more voices to address everybody all over.